Buffalo Bills versus Miami Dolphins. The stage is set in Miami Gardens as the 6-2 Buffalo Bills head south to face the 2-7 Dolphins in a pivotal AFC East clash. Buffalo trails division-leading New England by just one win, while Miami is fighting to salvage pride and momentum in a season that spiraled out of control. The numbers paint a clear picture of contrast. Buffalo enters with a 70% edge in win probability, a team steady and surging against one grasping for rhythm and health. Every game now matters for the Bills' playoff path. For Miami, it's about restoring credibility at home and proving they can still sting a rival. Buffalo's offense has been a model of balance and production. Quarterback Josh Allen has thrown for 1,833 yards, completing 70.4% of his passes with 13 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. Behind him, James Cook III anchors the ground game with 867 rushing yards and 7 scores, averaging a strong 5.7 yards per carry. Dalton Kincaid continues to emerge as a reliable tight end threat, posting 411 yards and 4 touchdowns. Defensively, the Bills get it done with grit. Cole Bishop leads the unit with 41 tackles, while Joey Bosa's 4 sacks add edge pressure. Ajay Epeneza's absence hurts, but this defense still hunts. Miami's stat line tells a tougher story. Tua Tagovailoa remains the centerpiece, posting 1,779 yards and 15 touchdowns through 9 games, but pairing that with 11 costly interceptions and 18 sacks absorbed. Rookie speedster Devon Achane has powered the run game with 606 yards and 3 scores, but his workload has been inconsistent. Jalen Waddle, as always, brings electricity. 586 yards and 4 touchdowns, his 14.3 yards per catch a rare highlight in a flat offense. Defensively, linebacker Jordan Brooks has been a bright spot, leading the AFC in tackles with 93. Yet despite those efforts, the Dolphins have surrendered 243 points, second worst in their division. The matchup spotlight shines on Buffalo's rhythm and Miami's resistance, an offense firing on all levels against a defense that's tired and overworked. Momentum couldn't be more lopsided. The Bills have won 3 of their last 5, including back-to-back statement wins, 28-21 over Kansas City and a dominant 40-9 blowout in Carolina. Their only recent blemishes came in tight losses to Atlanta and New England, both one-possession battles that revealed more toughness than weakness. Miami, meanwhile, has stumbled through 4 straight losses, all by double digits. Their last victory came weeks ago at Atlanta, and since then, it's been frustration on repeat. 28-6 to Baltimore, 31-6 to Cleveland, 29-27 to the Chargers, and 27-24 to Green Bay. The Dolphins are leaking points late and struggling to close drives, a bad recipe against Buffalo's explosive finishers. At quarterback, the duel defines everything. Josh Allen enters with confidence and command, averaging 229.1 yards per game with a 107.0 passer rating. He's not just a thrower. His 280 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns make him the Bills' second leading ground gainer. His efficiency in red zone reads and third down improvisation separates him from most in the league. Tua Tagovailoa, by contrast, has been inconsistent. His 67.9% completion rate looks solid, but the turnovers and pressure tell the real story. 11 interceptions through 9 games have tilted Miami's tempo toward chaos. Where Allen thrives under heat, Tua's protection has faltered, and his rhythm breaks easily under blitz pressure. The quarterback edge isn't subtle, it's decisive. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Buffalo Bills winner. Tactically, the edge leans toward Buffalo. The Bills line protects Allen well, and the Cook-Johnson duo provides steady balance. Expect Buffalo to challenge Miami's front early, forcing stacked boxes and freeing Kincaid over the middle. Defensively, Buffalo's challenge is speed containment. Waddle and Achane can flip the field instantly, but disciplined pursuit and clean tackling neutralize that burst. Miami's upset hopes hinge on forcing turnovers. They'll need pressure from Bradley Chubb, coverage from Minkah Fitzpatrick, and ideally a defensive score. Without it, matching Buffalo's pace seems unlikely. And then there's the emotional layer. Buffalo riding a confident wave into a humid South Florida afternoon, Miami hoping the heat and desperation can ignite something that's been missing for weeks. The Bills are healthier, more balanced, and better coached in situational football. The Dolphins, decimated by injuries and inconsistencies, enter with more questions than answers. Allen's poise, Cook's balance, and a disciplined defense extend the Bills' winning streak to 3. Miami fights early but fades late as turnovers and red zone failures define another long afternoon. Buffalo stays in the AFC East race. Miami slides further into rebuild talk. Prediction: total pick for this match is over 44.5. New England Patriots versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The stakes couldn't be higher in Tampa. The 7-2 New England Patriots march into Raymond James Stadium, riding a 6-game surge, chasing their 7th straight victory and firm control of the AFC East. Across the field, the 6-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers stand as the NFC South's top contender, defending home turf with a 2-1 record. The matchup predictor leans narrowly toward the Buccaneers, but this is no ordinary cross-conference clash. It's a heavyweight meeting of momentum and mentality. New England's new leader, Drake May, is turning heads in his rookie campaign, while Baker Mayfield's redemption story keeps the Buccaneers steady atop their division. One team ascends on promise, the other on persistence, and something's got to give. Let's break down what's driving each side. New England enters balanced and efficient. May has thrown for 2,285 yards, 17 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions, completing 74% of his passes with a 118.9 rating. Tailback Tre'Veyon Henderson has added 283 yards and a score, while Stephon Diggs leads all receivers with 508 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, linebacker Robert Spillane has 72 tackles, and Hassan Landry III has posted 5.5 sacks, anchoring a unit that's allowing just 18.7 points per game. Across from them, Tampa Bay's offense revolves around Mayfield's 1,919 yards and 13 touchdowns, supported by Rashad White's 287 rushing yards and Emeka Egbuka's 562 yards with 5 scores. Tyke Smith leads the Buccaneers' defense with 66 tackles, and Jamel Dean tops their secondary with 3 interceptions. The tale of the tape shows near-perfect symmetry. Both teams thrive on discipline, execution, and a knack for winning close. Momentum paints a similar picture, though the Patriots have a sharper edge. Their last 5 results: wins over Atlanta, 24-23, Cleveland, 32-13, Tennessee, 31-13, New Orleans, 25-19, and Buffalo, 23-20. 4 of those were decided late, a sign of resilience and control under pressure. The Buccaneers, meanwhile, are steady but not spotless. They've won 3 of their last 5, edging New Orleans, 23-3, but stumbling against Detroit, 24-9, and Philadelphia, 31-25. Tampa's defense has been stout in spurts, yet inconsistent against high-tempo offenses. The Patriots' offense, once conservative, now attacks vertically, and their defense thrives on fourth-quarter takeaways. That blend of balance and timing makes them dangerous in every phase. This quarterback duel might define the afternoon. May's poise under pressure has elevated New England's entire attack. He's completing 189 of 255 attempts for over 253 yards per game. A rhythm passer with touch and vision beyond his years. Mayfield, by contrast, plays with grit and improvisation, completing 172 of 269 for just under 240 yards per outing. He's thrown 13 touchdowns to 2 picks, steering a more methodical, possession-based offense. The difference lies in style. May extends plays with movement and anticipation, while Mayfield leans on quick reads and veteran patience. Both protect the ball well, but May's efficiency and command, especially on the road, have made him the difference in tight finishes. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Tampa Bay Buccaneers winner. Schematically, this game turns on trenches and tempo. New England's line has protected May with quiet dominance, allowing him time to exploit mismatches. Tampa's front seven, led by Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick, 4 and 2 sacks respectively, must collapse the pocket early. The Buccaneers' secondary, though opportunistic, faces its toughest challenge yet in Diggs and tight end Hunter Henry, who's quietly produced 301 yards and 3 scores. On the other side, White's ground game faces a Patriots defense ranked among the stingiest against the run, surrendering barely over 3.5 yards per carry. Expect Tampa to test the edges early. If they can't establish rhythm there, Mayfield will shoulder too much. Key X factors: Tyke Smith's ability to neutralize intermediate routes, and Henderson's consistency on short downs. Special teams could tilt this too. Both sides have relied on field position to mask mid-drive stalls. In the end, the difference may come down to rhythm and resolve. New England plays with clarity, confidence, and late-game discipline that's hard to match. Tampa Bay's home field helps, but their recent scoring lulls against physical defenses raise questions. May's accuracy and the Patriots' defensive balance feel more sustainable right now than Tampa's uneven offensive flow. Expect a high-level battle, tactical, physical, and fiercely competitive. But New England's rhythm under pressure and superior efficiency through the air will prevail. Execution and composure define the night, and May continues New England's rise from promise to power. Prediction: total pick for this match is over 44.5. Arizona Cardinals versus Seattle Seahawks. The stage is set in Seattle, and the stakes couldn't be clearer. The Seahawks, sitting at 6-2 and tied atop the NFC West, aim to stay in control of a three-way race that includes Los Angeles and San Francisco. Arizona, at 3-5, clings to faint playoff hopes but faces a mountain climb on the road, where they're just 2-2 this season. The numbers favor Seattle heavily, a 64.6% win probability at home. But in division football, the script is never safe. Last time these teams met, Seattle's front swallowed Arizona's quarterback 6 times. Now, with Kyler Murray sidelined and Jacoby Brissett under center, the Cardinals enter Lumen Field as double-digit underdogs looking to shock the division leader. Seattle's season has been defined by balance. Sam Darnold has quietly steered one of the NFC's most efficient passing games, completing over 70% of his throws for 2,084 yards and 16 touchdowns, while running back Kenneth Walker, the third, continues to pound defenses with 472 rushing yards and 3 scores. Jackson Smith-Njigba has emerged as the go-to threat, 58 catches, 948 yards, and 4 touchdowns, turning every short throw into a highlight reel. Defensively, linebacker Ernest Jones IV leads with 65 tackles and 3 interceptions, while Uchenna Nwosu adds 5.5 sacks of edge pressure that forces mistakes. Arizona leans on heart more than depth. Murray still leads the team in passing, 962 yards, and rushing, 173, while Marvin Harrison Jr. is their lone explosive outlet with 492 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mack Wilson Sr. anchors the defense with 60 tackles, but his absence this week leaves a hole in the middle of an already thin unit. The contrast couldn't be sharper. A complete team versus one searching for stability. Momentum tells the same story. Seattle has won 3 of its last 4, including decisive victories over Washington, 38-14, and Houston, 27-19, shaking off a narrow loss to Tampa Bay. The Seahawks are controlling tempo, averaging 29 points in their last 3 wins, and their defense has held opponents to under 20 in back-to-back games. Arizona, meanwhile, has been uneven. Impressive in spurts, inconsistent overall. Their 27-17 upset of Dallas showed grit, but recent losses to Green Bay and Indianapolis exposed defensive flaws. They've allowed 23+ in 3 of 4, and without Murray's mobility, the offense must adjust fast to survive Seattle's chaos. The quarterback duel defines this matchup. Sam Darnold is finally playing clean, efficient football. 152 completions on 216 attempts, a 70.4% rate with a 118.0 passer rating. He's been poised in the pocket, sharp on third down, and decisive in red zone reads. Brissett, in contrast, has been serviceable but limited. Just 832 yards through 8 appearances, completing 67% with 6 touchdowns and 4 picks. He's managing, not commanding games, a risky approach against Seattle's rush. Expect Darnold to attack Arizona's thin secondary with play-action shots to Smith-Njigba and Kupp, while Brissett counters with quick hits to McBride and short passes to Harrison Jr. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Seattle Seahawks winner. Tactically, this matchup is about trench control and discipline. Seattle owns both. Their offensive line protects Darnold effectively, while Arizona's patchwork front struggles to stop the run or generate consistent push. The Seahawks average 262 total passing yards per game and complement it with an 831-yard team rushing total, giving them multiple ways to win. Arizona's rushing committee, outside of Murray's scrambles, has produced just 892 yards on 204 carries, an uninspiring 4.4 average that disappears against physical fronts. Defensively, Seattle thrives on takeaways and red zone stops. Arizona bends early and breaks late. The X factors: Walker's downhill running in cold conditions and Smith-Njigba's yards after catch dynamism against backup corners. For Arizona, it's whether Harrison Jr. can break a big play early enough to flip momentum before Seattle's defense tightens. This one feels lopsided but not lifeless. Arizona's fight under Brissett could keep them close early, especially if they win field position battles and force a turnover or two. But over 4 quarters, Seattle's depth, composure, and home field control should prove decisive. Expect Darnold's efficient rhythm passing and Walker's inside running to dictate pace from start to finish. The Cardinals' defensive holes, magnified by injuries to Wilson and multiple starters, will be too much to cover against this balanced Seattle attack. Seattle stays on top of the NFC West, powered by Darnold's precision, a relentless front 7, and a home crowd that never lets visiting quarterbacks breathe. Arizona shows flashes, but Seattle plays complete, confident, and composed. Everything a contender should be in November. Prediction? Total pick for this match is over 41.5. Pittsburgh Steelers versus Los Angeles Chargers. The lights are bright in Inglewood, and 2 playoff-caliber teams are walking into SoFi Stadium with something to prove. Pittsburgh arrives at 5-3, second in the AFC North, chasing Baltimore but holding their own after a gritty win over Indianapolis. Los Angeles, sitting at 6-3 and second in the AFC West behind Denver, is hunting for a 3rd straight victory and a chance to tighten its divisional race. The numbers give the edge to the home team, about a 62% win probability. But this matchup screams balance. A veteran quarterback trying to steady an offense against one of the league's hottest young arms. The tale of the tape reveals a fascinating contrast. For Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 1,692 yards, completing 167 of 243 passes with 17 touchdowns and just 5 picks. Efficient, calm, classic Rodgers football. Jaylen Warren anchors the ground game with 404 yards and 2 scores on 99 carries, averaging just over 4 yards per rush. DK Metcalf remains the clear top target, hauling in 467 yards and 5 touchdowns, while linebacker Peyton Wilson leads the defense with 71 tackles. Across the line, TJ Watt continues his elite pace, 5 sacks, and a forced tone every snap. The Chargers counter with a big-armed, high-volume approach led by Justin Herbert, who's piled up 2,390 yards and 18 touchdowns through 9 games. Even with 8 interceptions, he's averaging over 265 yards per outing, keeping Los Angeles among the league's most dangerous aerial attacks. Rookie back Omarion Hampton adds 314 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns before landing on injured reserve, while receiver Ladd McConkey leads the team with 524 yards and 3 touchdowns. Linebacker Dion Henley, 61 tackles, and edge rusher Tuli Tuipulotu, 7 sacks, headline a defense that thrives on pressure and athleticism. On paper, it's efficiency versus explosiveness, a steady veteran attack trying to outsmart a high-octane, youth-driven roster. Momentum tells its own story. Pittsburgh's last 5 include a tight win over the Colts, 27-20, and a defensive clinic versus Cleveland, 23-9. But they've also stumbled. Green Bay and Cincinnati exposed cracks in pass coverage. The Steelers' formula remains the same: protect the football, win the trenches, trust the defense. Los Angeles, meanwhile, is on a heater. The Chargers have won 3 of their last 4, outscoring opponents by a combined 81-44 across wins over Tennessee, Miami, and Minnesota. Their lone setback, a 38-24 loss to Indianapolis, came with a depleted backfield, yet they rebounded fast. Herbert's group looks synced, the defense opportunistic, and home field energy could amplify both. At quarterback, this matchup feels cinematic. Rodgers brings veteran precision, a 68% completion rate, 17 touchdowns to 5 picks, and a passer rating north of 103.3. He's not throwing deep as often, but he's deadly efficient in the red zone. Herbert, in contrast, is all volume and velocity. 220 completions on 325 attempts, good for 67.7%, with 18 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. His passer rating sits just below 98, but his improvisation keeps plays alive. His deep ball stretches coverage, and his chemistry with McConkey and Keenan Allen keeps defenses guessing. Rodgers works surgical drives. Herbert works fireworks. This isn't just a matchup. It's a masterclass in generational styles. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Los Angeles Chargers winner. The tactical edges come down to rhythm and resilience. Pittsburgh's defense bends but rarely breaks, allowing 195 points through 8 games. The front 7, anchored by Watt and Wilson, must collapse the pocket and disrupt Herbert's reads early. Offensively, the Steelers need Warren's consistency to control tempo and keep the Chargers' offense off the field. Los Angeles, meanwhile, will look to exploit mismatches downfield and test the Steelers' secondary that's allowed a few too many chunk plays. Tuipulotu and Henley will try to pressure Rodgers out of his comfort zone, while McConkey's speed can shred zones if Herbert gets time. One wild card: the Chargers' injury list. Several defenders are questionable, and if their rotation thins, Pittsburgh's veteran poise could capitalize in the fourth quarter. This one feels like a chess match between control and chaos. The Chargers have the momentum, the home crowd, and the hotter quarterback. The Steelers bring playoff DNA, discipline, and Rodgers' big game calm. Expect fireworks early, a tug-of-war by halftime, and a defining drive late. Herbert's arm and home field tempo tilt the balance, but it won't come easy. Pittsburgh will punch, counter, and keep it close, yet Los Angeles' offensive rhythm and closing drive execution should carry them to a hard-earned third straight win. Prediction: total pick for this match is over 42.5.